I'm about to publish a book on Fauci.
Yeah.
And he's, he's been there for 50 years. So he's like J. Edgar Hoover. And the only way that you last in that agency for 50 years is by carrying water for the pharmaceutical industry. And under his watch, he's supposed to prevent autoimmune and allergic diseases. Under his watch, chronic disease has gone from affecting 12% of the American population to 54%. We take more pharmaceutical drugs than anybody in the world. We pay the highest prices. So he's made this country a pharmaceutical nation.
Yeah, my brother's allergic to sesame seeds.
But, exactly. And the way that you get allergies is from the aluminum adjuvant in the vaccine, which is put in that vaccine to initiate an allergic response. And so if you have sesame seed oil as an excipient in the vaccine, or if you're eating sesame seeds when you have that aluminum adjuvant in you, it can provoke a permanent allergy. And if you look, you don't know anybody who is my age who has food allergies. Very, very hard to find. I think it's 1 in something like 1,300. And today, if you're born after,
kill half a football team.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Everybody's
after
got a
1989. So anybody who was born after 89, I think it's 1 in 12 now. Autism went from 1 in 10,000 in my generation to 1 in every 34 kids. And it's the same with all these chronic diseases that are all listed as side effects. The Moderna vaccine was completely developed by Tony Fauci. He hands it to a private group. They put $2 billion of federal money into allowing them to develop it. And then Tony Fauci's agency keeps half the profits from the vaccine. Oh, it would be like, I've sued EPA many times for being a captured agency, but, what would it be like if EPA made half of its profits selling coal?
Yeah.
It's the same thing. These agencies are not independent agencies. They're completely captured. And you have, all of the other institutions of government that should stand between a greedy corporation and a vulnerable child have been compromised. Congress gets more money, lobbying money from the pharmaceutical industry than any other industry. They give them double what oil and gas. I'm talking about lobbyists. There's more pharma lobbyists on Capitol Hill than there are congressmen, senators, and Supreme Court justices combined. The regulatory agencies have been captured. The press is utterly captured. And that's because in 1997, we passed a law in this country, or FDA, changed the regulation to make it legal for the first time for television and radio and newspapers to advertise pharmaceutical products on the air, direct-to-consumer pharmaceuticals.
When was that? What year was that?
That was 97. So there's only 2 countries in the world that allow that. Everybody agrees it's a terrible thing to do.
Oh, and it's half of our commercials now as well.
Well, Roger Ailes, who founded Fox, told me that there are 22 commercials on his average evening news show, and 17 of those are pharmaceutical.
Wow. Oh, yeah, I'm just trying to get through half a Family Guy, and next thing you know, I have HIV by the end of the episode. You know what I'm saying? It's just like the fear, and a lot of it's fear, too. And they give you pictures of like, oh, here's a happy family, but you might have this looming in the distance,
Yeah.
You might have
Kevin
scoliosis.
Nealon said that he wanted to do one of those ads where they list all these horrible things from the side effects, and the people are walking around happy and laughing and playing football. He said he just wants to do one of those ads where people are actually acting out the side effects.
That would be so good.
The idea that we can trust an expert to tell us what's good for us. Every trial I've ever been involved with, there's an expert on both sides. And they're both equally convincing. And that's why you need the debate.
Yeah.
That's why, saying Tony Fauci, that's why people say, I want a second opinion.
Yeah.
He's a doctor. He hasn't treated patients for 50 years. He's a doctor, but he doesn't know anything about economics. He cannot tell you how many people are dying of unemployment. There are studies from the 1980s. There's a famous study in 1982. In the 1980s, there was these huge downsizing and layoffs that were occurring in our country. And there was a whole cottage industry, a whole school of economics that grew up to see what happens to people when they get unemployed. And there's one very famous study, it's cited hundreds of times in the literature, that said that for every additional 1 point in unemployment, there's 37,000 Americans die.
Yeah.
9,000 of them die of heart attacks, 900 from suicide, and so on and so on. Hypertension, diabetes, all these things, lose their health care, all of these bad things. There's a cascade of bad things happen. Our population was about half, so you have to double that and say for every point in unemployment, we're going to lose maybe 60,000 dead that otherwise would not have died. And are we saving more lives? Are we killing more people with the quarantine than we are killing with COVID?
That's a great question.
Nobody has done that assessment. And that's the weird thing is people say, listen to the experts. But Anthony Fauci is not an expert on deaths from unemployment. And, and when Britain did this study, Britain said in the 5 weeks in April and May, there were 30,000 excess deaths in elderly facilities, which they call nursing homes in Britain. But only 10,000 of them had COVID. 20,000 of them died from isolation.
Oh, yeah. I'm not shocked. I mean, I notice even just in my own, going to 12-step and going to recovery and not being able to have those meetings and not being able to.
Oh, the addiction rates are.
I cannot even imagine, bro.
Right.
I cannot even imagine how,
you and I know people who have gone out and died.
Yeah.
During this, who are people who couldn't go to our meetings. And
it's a lot of people's livelihood, and that's a lot of people. And there's no talk, there's just no talk about the human effect of some of this. It feels like sometimes it's just about this weird medical effect, or medical fear, which it's not shocking then if big pharma and that money is so slowly seeped its arms all the way in everything that at the very pinnacle of discussion, the only thing people are concerned about, the media is concerned about, is the medical effects of it and no longer the human effects of it.
Yeah, why doesn't Anderson Cooper ever, not once, had an economist on to say,
a pussy, bro? I don't know, bro. That's just my thought, bro, but you know what I'm saying? I'll put side control on that dude in a heartbeat, but that's just me,
Hope you enjoyed that video, and you can watch another. And you can watch this one, you can watch this one. Different options, different choices. Some guy just brings you one option, not this guy. 2 options. Watch one, this one or this one.